What's up guys, my name's Sopsy and welcome back to another FIFA 21 video. Today we're going to be talking about Team of the Year, honourable mention Grealish, how I think this card ranks in terms of value for your time, a quick look at the squad that I'm using and some tips on what squad that you could use to make this a little bit easier for you and help you out with the objectives themselves of course, and then whether or not I think this Grealish is a good card overall in general for the meta of the game. So jumping straight into the objectives. Assist with the through ball in 2 separate matches. That's something that you should easily be able to do. It's English players, so that is one thing that you need to keep in mind. Score a finesse goal in 3 separate matches using midfielders with a 4-star weak foot, 4-star skill move, sorry. So that's one that you've got to think of as well. They're a little bit trickier this time. They seem to have tweaked them and made them a little bit more sort of out there, so you shouldn't be able to get them too easily unless you base your team around these features. Score 3 outside of the box goals. That's just a standard one that you're going to need to be able to do. You might be able to arrange that with someone else if they message you in game and say, hey, can we just get the outside of the box goals done? That's always a good way to do those. Win 7 matches, which isn't too bad. It's not as much of a grind, and to score in 12 separate ones using Premier League players. So again, something to bear in mind as we base the squad around. So let's jump straight into the squad that I've built. So as you can see on the screen guys, this is the team that I have built out of my players that I have available. So essentially my recommendation for you in terms of the squad is to build out a back 4 that you're happy with, a back 4 that you really feel comfortable playing with. You know, you can use your best 4 players that you've got, the best keeper you've got. The chemistry does not matter, although I will say I have noticed that if you play with really low chem, even in the max chemistry mode, it does seem to affect the team a little bit. So do possibly think about keeping the chemistry over 50 maybe if you can. But again, it shouldn't matter. I don't know why it does. It shouldn't, but it sometimes does. But just essentially use the best back 4 you can. My tip would be, at the moment, even if you've barely got any cards in your club, you should be able to go out and complete the Cannavaro SBC. You should be able to complete the Roberto Carlos SBC. There's also, I mean, a Kocha there if you need a good cam. You know, there's plenty there to do in terms of the free loan icons that you can use for these. If you picked up any of the other loans from just loan packs or the player pick pack, maybe you took Son like I did, then those are all options to be used in friendlies, and you can use them as long as they've got 1 game on them. So as you can see, I've gone for Neuer in goal, Kleiber at right back, and then obviously we're using the Cannavaro. I personally think Apara is the Black Maldini. He is phenomenal in this game. He's just basically the anti-Mbappe, so I really just like using him, so that's why I've gone for him there. And Roberto Carlos at left back. Then I'm using Ballack in the holding midfield role, Maradona in cam. And on the right hand side I've got Rashford. The main reason for that is because he's English for the through balls. He's also got 5-star skill moves, so he hits all of the points for the objectives that will help to get that done without really having to think about it. The other reason I've got Vardy, again, through balls potentially. He unfortunately doesn't have the skill moves, but still he's just clinical up there, so he's one of the players that will help with scoring with Prem players. We've also gone for Adama, who does have the skill moves, but obviously not English, but is Prem player, very helpful. If you did this freeze Adama, I would recommend putting the finisher chem start or a Deadeye chem start on him, because he doesn't really need the pace, and then playing him up top is just, this is what he's made for. This friendlies mode is his perfect mode. Mane we've got on the left hand side, who is 4-star, 4-star. Again, these are all just players that I had untradeable in my club. And then thinking about the bench and things, if you completed the objectives for the championship players, then you've got Sinclair and Dak as English players that you can use to bring on and try and get that objective done. Maybe you took Lacazette, you could use him as your striker. I mean, there's plenty of cheap players out there. You can go buy a Aubameyang, you can go buy, you know, Son, Martial, any of those players to try and help with the scoring the Premier League goals. In terms of the bench, again, more loan icons. The main thing is that if you score the Prem player, you've done any of the other objectives and you're just looking for the win, then you can of course take off your Prem player, and then of course your loan Mbappe, maybe your regular Mbappe that you've packed, can just come straight off the bench to try and try hard for the win. Michael Owen, if you've done his loan may still be available as well. He is a great option. He has the 4-star, doesn't have the 4-star skill moves, but he does a 4-star weak foot, but he's another option for English players, won't count as Prem, but you know, useful. Son also has the 5-star, 4-star, so he's very helpful for this as well. But basically, just build the sweatiest possible team you can. You know, you can play Son up top. Build the team that you want. Build the team that works for you, and then try your best with the rest of it to hit those objectives for the ones that you want to get. You want to get the English through balls. You want to get the score of the Prem player. You know, and you want to get the goals in separate matches with assists, with finesses, with 4-star weak for 4-star skill moves players. So just try and hit all of those objectives with the team, and then you shouldn't have to go out of your way to do it. It should just naturally happen as you play through those 12 games, and maybe more if you aren't able to get the 7 wins inside those 12 games. So quickly, we're just going to take a look at the Grealish card and see what I think about him. So I think this is an interesting concept from EA. I do like the fact that they've tried to squeeze in some players that have had a particularly good season that didn't really get anything and therefore have still managed to get themselves sort of like a Team of the Year-ish level card. Grealish, he's 5'11", so not the smallest, which is useful. Medium's not fantastic, but it shouldn't affect him too much, hopefully, in game, especially in the cam role as well. 4-star skill moves, 3-star weak foot is a bit of a letdown. So if you look at his in-games, the pace is where I think he struggles a little bit, so I really do think he's going to need a hunter on him in this instance. He's got 83 sprint speed, 87 acceleration. That's the way you would like to have the pace split, but it's not fantastic. His shooting overall is a little bit meh, it's not quite there, it's not upper echelon, so that's why I would recommend going with a hunter. I mean, you could try yourself out an engine or, a hawk if you want to increase the physical as well, but I do recommend going with a hunter on this one. His passing, however, is top tier, and his dribbling is phenomenal with 92 agility and 89 balance. He also has 86 reactions and 89 composure, which all really help for the sort of meta of this game and how scripting and things like that and the dynamic difficulty adjustments tend to affect players. Those are all key stats that you need to have on players for them to perform in a bad situation in a game. As for his defending, obviously he's a cam, he's got low defending, it's not really going to matter. He's not going to be a player you can slap a shadow on and make him sort of a usable box to box, but as a cam or a striker, very useful with a hunter on. The physicals, again, his jumping and heading accuracy are 41.5 combined, so there's no point trying to win headers with him, but he might surprise you, might head it in, you never know. This is FIFA. Strength and aggression aren't great, but it's not what you're going to get with this card. I do think it's a good free card. In terms of the grind for it, it's a little bit less of a grind than Suarez in some ways and more of a grind in other ways with going out of your way to get the other objectives done. But I think it's worth the time. It's a free card, it's a free 87, even if you end up putting him in an SBC or you get some use out of him, then it's definitely worth it. And of course, it's content and something to play for. So I think he is worth doing and worth completing. If you like the video, guys, please leave a like. If you want to subscribe to me, you can. Make sure to check me out on the socials below, especially TikTok. My name's Soapsy, and I'll see you guys later.